Look around you. Out of every 100 people who start with a dream, only one actually achieves it. 99 fail. That's not my opinion, that's a statistical fact. But here's the real question. Why? What separates that 1% from everyone else? Is it luck? Intelligence? Connections? The answer might shock you. Today I'm going to break down the exact reasons why 99% of people fail. And more importantly, I'll give you the precise blueprint to join the elite 1%. This isn't motivational fluff. These are proven principles backed by psychology, neuroscience, and real-world success stories. By the end of this video, you'll have a complete roadmap. So let's get started. Reason 1. They mistake motion for action. The first reason people fail is they confuse being busy with being productive. They're in constant motion but taking zero action.
Let me explain the difference.
Motion is researching business ideas for months. Action is launching your first product. Motion is watching fitness videos. Action is doing your first workout. Motion is planning to start a YouTube channel. Action is recording your first video. Motion feels safe because there's no risk of failure. You can research forever, plan forever, prepare forever, and never actually face the possibility of rejection or failure. But here's the brutal truth. Motion makes you feel like you're progressing, but you're really just standing still. The 1% understand this. They take imperfect action over perfect planning. They know that launching a mediocre product teaches you more than planning a perfect one for 6 months. They embrace the ready, fire, aim approach. Start quickly, then adjust based on real feedback.
Your action step.
If you've been planning or researching something for more than 2 weeks, stop. Take one concrete action today, even if it's imperfect. Reason 2. They quit right before the breakthrough. The second reason is the most heartbreaking. They quit right before success. There's a famous story about gold miners during the California gold rush. One miner spent months digging, found nothing, and quit. He sold his equipment to another miner. The new miner dug just 3 feet further and struck one of the biggest gold veins in history. 3 feet. That's all it took. Most people give up when they're literally inches away from their breakthrough. Why? Because growth isn't linear, it's exponential. You work for months seeing no results, then suddenly everything explodes. In psychology, this is called the plateau of latent potential. Imagine an ice cube sitting in a room. The temperature is 25 degrees. It rises to 26, 27, 28 degrees. Nothing happens. The ice stays frozen. Then it hits 32 degrees, and suddenly the ice melts. All that accumulated heat finally produces visible results. Your success works the same way. The YouTuber posting videos for 8 months with 50 views each, then video 87 goes viral. The entrepreneur failing with 6 business ideas, then the 7th makes him a millionaire. The 1% keep going when the 99% quit. Your action step? Commit to your goal for at least 6 months of consistent effort before even considering quitting. Reason 3. They chase every shiny object. Third reason, lack of focus. They suffer from shiny object syndrome. Today they want to be a YouTuber. Next week it's drop shipping. The month after it's crypto trading, then real estate, then AI consulting. They're constantly starting over, never finishing anything.
Here's what the 1% know.
Warren Buffett's advisor once asked him his secret to success. Buffett told him to write down his top 25 goals. Then he said, circle your top 5. Now those other 20, avoid them at all costs. They're your distractions disguised as opportunities. The 1% don't have more time than you. They just focus their time like a laser beam instead of spreading it like a flashlight. Bruce Lee said, "I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times." Think about it. If you spent the last 5 years jumping between 10 different business ideas, spending 6 months on each, you'd have 10 failed attempts. But if you spent those same 5 years on one idea, you'd be a master. Your action step. Choose one goal. Write it down. For the next 90 days, say no to every other opportunity. Become obsessed with that one thing. Reason 4. They're waiting for perfect conditions.
Fourth reason. They wait for the perfect time, perfect conditions, perfect circumstances. Newsflash. That time never comes. I'll start when I have more money. I'll start when I have more time. I'll start when the economy gets better. I'll start after this busy season. These are excuses disguised as logic. The 1% understand that conditions will never be perfect. Steve Jobs started Apple in a garage. J.K. Rowling wrote Harry Potter as a broke single mother. Oprah was born into poverty. The Airbnb founders couldn't afford rent. That's why they created Airbnb. Your current circumstances are not your final destination. They're your starting point. The 1% start with what they have, where they are, with what they know. They build the plane while flying it. Your action step. Start today with whatever resources you currently have. Stop waiting. Reason 5. They lack a system. Fifth reason. They rely on motivation instead of systems.
Motivation is like a battery.
It runs out. You wake up motivated on Monday, by Wednesday it's gone. The 99% try to achieve goals through sheer willpower and motivation. The 1% build systems that work, even when they're not motivated. James Clear, author of Atomic Habits, says, "You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems." Let me give you an example. Bad goal. I want to get fit. Good system. I go to the gym every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 6 a.m., and I've already packed my gym bag the night before. The difference? The goal depends on motivation. The system works automatically. The 1% automate their success through routines, schedules, and systems that don't require constant decision-making.
Your brain makes about 35,000 decisions per day.
Each decision drains mental energy. The 1% eliminate unnecessary decisions by creating systems. Mark Zuckerberg wears the same outfit every day, not because he can't afford different clothes, but because he doesn't want to waste decision-making energy on clothing. Your action step? Create one system this week. If your goal is to read more, create a system. I read 10 pages every morning with my coffee before checking my phone. Reason 6. They don't invest in themselves. Sixth reason, they won't invest in their own growth. The 99% will spend $5 on coffee daily but think a $100 course is too expensive. They'll buy a new phone every year but won't buy books. They'll spend hours on Netflix but won't spend 30 minutes learning a new skill. The 1% understand that they are their greatest asset. Warren Buffett says the best investment you can make is in yourself. He reads 500 pages a day. Bill Gates reads 50 books a year. Elon Musk learned rocket science by reading books. Your earning potential is directly tied to your learning potential. If you're making $50,000 a year and you've been learning the same things for 5 years, why would your income change? The 1% invest 10 to 20% of their income back into education, courses, books, mentors, and skills. Your action step. Commit to spending at least 1 hour daily on self-education. Read, take courses, listen to podcasts, watch educational content. Make yourself more valuable. Reason 7. They ignore their energy management. 7th reason. They manage time instead of energy. Everyone has 24 hours, but not everyone has the same energy. You could have 8 hours of free time, but if you're exhausted, distracted, and mentally drained, those hours are worthless.
The 1% don't just schedule their time. They schedule their energy. They know their peak performance hours and protect them fiercely. They understand that 1 hour of deep, focused work in a peak state is worth 10 hours of distracted, tired work. Here's what the 1% do differently. They identify their chronotype. Are you a morning person or night owl? Backlash. They do their most important work during peak energy hours. They eliminate energy vampires, toxic people, social media rabbit holes, unnecessary meetings. They prioritize sleep, nutrition, and exercise, not as luxuries, but as business strategies. Your energy is your currency. Spending it wisely is what separates winners from losers. You can't hustle your way out of burnout. The 1% work smarter by managing their biological rhythms. Your action step. For 1 week, track your energy levels every hour. Note when you feel most focused and creative. Then, schedule your most important tasks during those windows. Reason 8. They surround themselves with the wrong people. 8th reason. Their environment is killing their dreams. Jim Rohn said, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. If your 5 closest friends are broke, unmotivated, and negative, guess what you'll become?" The 99% hang out with people who validate their excuses. You're right, the economy is bad. Yeah, the system is rigged. Don't take that risk. These people make you feel comfortable staying stuck. The 1% actively curate their circle. They're not being snobby, they're being strategic. They know that proximity is power. Hang around successful people, and success becomes your normal. Hang around mediocre people, and mediocrity becomes your ceiling. But here's the secret. You don't need direct access to successful people. Today, you can surround yourself with top performers through books, podcasts, YouTube videos, and online communities. You can have a virtual mentor by consuming their content daily. Tony Robbins says, "If you want to achieve greatness, stop asking for permission." The same applies to your network. Stop asking permission to level up your circle. Your action step. Audit your circle. Are your closest 5 people lifting you up or holding you back? Join online communities, masterminds, or forums where ambitious people gather. Distance yourself from dream killers. Reason 9. They fear judgment more than regret. 9th reason. They're paralyzed by what others might think. What if I fail and people laugh? What if my family thinks I'm crazy? What if I look stupid? These fears keep more dreams locked away than any external obstacle ever could. The 99% live their lives according to other people's opinions. They choose safe careers to make their parents happy. They don't start businesses because their friends might mock them. They play small to avoid criticism. Here's the truth.
You're going to be judged no matter what you do. If you succeed, people will call you lucky. If you fail, they'll say they knew it wouldn't work. You can't win, so stop playing their game. The 1% understand something powerful. The people judging you are usually the ones doing nothing with their own lives. As Theodore Roosevelt said, it's not the critic who counts. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena. Also, here's a reality check. Most people aren't thinking about you at all. They're too busy worrying about their own lives. Your failure or success barely registers as a blip on their radar. So why give them so much power over your decisions?
Your action step.
Make one decision this week based purely on what you want, not what others might think. Post that video. Start that business. Have that conversation. Feel the fear and do it anyway. Reason 10. They don't track their progress. 10th reason. They have no measurement system. You've heard the saying, what gets measured gets managed. The 99% work blindly. They have vague goals like be successful or get healthier, with no way to measure progress. The 1% are obsessed with metrics. They track everything. The entrepreneur tracks revenue, conversion rates, and customer acquisition costs. The fitness enthusiast tracks weight, body fat percentage, and workout performance. The content creator tracks views, engagement, and subscriber growth.
Why?
Because tracking creates accountability and reveals patterns. You can't improve what you don't measure. When you track your progress, you can identify what's working and what's not. You can course correct quickly instead of wandering in the dark for months. Plus, tracking gives you small wins that build momentum. When you see progress, even tiny progress, it fuels your motivation to keep going. Your action step. Choose 3 to 5 key metrics related to your goal. Create a simple spreadsheet or use an app. Track daily or weekly. Review monthly. Adjust your strategy based on data, not feelings. Reason 11. They give up on self-discipline. 11th reason. They want the reward without the consistency. Everyone wants the six-pack abs, but nobody wants to do 500 sit-ups or say no to pizza. Everyone wants $1 million business, but nobody wants to work nights and weekends for years. Everyone wants success, but nobody wants discipline.
The 1% understand that discipline is freedom. It sounds contradictory, but it's true.
The discipline to wake up early gives you the freedom of extra productive hours. The discipline to save money gives you financial freedom. The discipline to exercise gives you health freedom. Jocko Willink, Navy SEAL and author, has a simple philosophy. Discipline equals freedom. The more disciplined you are, the more freedom you earn. The 99% see discipline as restriction. The 1% see it as liberation. Here's the secret. Discipline isn't something you're born with. It's a muscle you build. Start small. Don't try to overhaul your entire life overnight. Make your bed every morning. That's it. Master that for a week. Then add one more small discipline. Stack them slowly. The compound effect of small disciplines is staggering. If you improve by just 1% every day, you'll be 37 times better in a year. Not 365% better, 37 times better. That's the power of compound discipline.
Your action step.
Choose one small discipline to master this month. Make your bed. Drink water first thing. Do 10 push-ups. Read 10 pages. Do it every single day for 30 days. Build the discipline muscle. Reason 12. They don't embrace failure as feedback. The 12th and final reason. They see failure as fatal instead of feedback. The 99% try something once, fail, and quit. I guess it wasn't meant to be. The 1% fail, learn, adjust, and try again. Thomas Edison failed 10,000 times before inventing the light bulb. When asked about his failures, he said, "I didn't fail. I just found 10,000 ways that don't work." Failure isn't the opposite of success. It's part of success. Every successful person has a trail of failures behind them. The difference? They didn't interpret failure as a reflection of their worth. They saw it as data. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team. Walt Disney was fired for lacking imagination. Oprah was told she was unfit for television. J.K. Rowling was rejected by 12 publishers. These weren't just failures, they were redirections. In Silicon Valley, there's a saying, fail fast, fail forward. The faster you fail, the faster you learn. The faster you learn, the faster you succeed. The 1% actually seek out failure because they know it's the shortest path to success. Here's a mindset shift. Stop asking, what if I fail? And start asking, what if I succeed, but I have to fail 10 times first? Would you still do it? If yes, then failure isn't the problem. Quitting is. Your action step. Reframe your last failure. Write down 3 lessons you learned from it. Then ask, what would I do differently next time? Failure is only wasted if you don't extract the lesson. The 1% blueprint. All right, let's bring this all together. Here's your blueprint to join the 1%. 1. Take action over motion. Stop planning, start doing. 2. Commit for the long haul. Give it at least 6 months of consistent effort. 3. Focus on one thing. Master one skill, one business, one goal. 4. Start now with what you have. Perfect conditions don't exist. 5. Build systems, not reliance on motivation. Automate your success. 6. Invest in yourself. You are your greatest asset. 7. Manage your energy, not just time. Work during peak hours. 8. Upgrade your circle. Surround yourself with winners. 9. Ignore the critics. Do it anyway. 10. Track your progress. Measure what matters. 11. Build discipline daily. 1% better every day. 12. Embrace failure as feedback. Learn and iterate. The gap between the 99% and the 1% isn't talent, luck, or connections. It's choices. Daily choices. Consistent choices. Disciplined choices. You have everything you need right now to start. The only question is, will you? Remember, the 1% aren't superhumans. They're ordinary people who made extraordinary choices. They're people who decided that mediocrity wasn't acceptable. They're people who, when faced with the same obstacles you have, chose to push through anyway. You're watching this video, which means you're already ahead of most people who won't even seek out this information. Now it's time to apply it. Choose one principle from this video. Just one. Implement it this week. Then come back next week and add another. In 3 months, your life will be unrecognizable. If this video added value, smash that like button, share it with someone who needs to hear this, and subscribe for more content on success,
mindset, and personal development. Drop a comment below telling me which principle resonated most with you, or share your commitment to joining the 1%. Your future self is watching. Make them proud. Let's go.